God that we are here in the house of the Lord today. Let us pray. Heavenly Father, we do thank you for this day and time with coming and keeping us. We thank you for blessing us. Thank you for blessing our loved ones. Thank you for answering our prayers. Thank you for keeping those that we pray for. Now I ask that you continue to bless us on this day. Bless our pastors, keep them uplifted and strong. Continue doing that which you would have us to do. Bless this lesson as it's going to be taught. Yes. Give me insight. Open up our hearts and our minds to understand. Let everyone have an insight and an understanding that you would all come together on one accord to agree that your word is the word. Yes. In Jesus Christ's name, I do pray. Amen. Our lesson today, we're going into talk about one of God's chosen ones that he chose to be king over Israel, but somehow he decided to do his own thing. And it's amazing that David has a very reputable, or irreparable, should I say, resume, so to speak. I mean, because this man had, he was taking care of sheep, but he killed a bear, he killed a lion, he fought Goliath, and killed him when the other Israelites were afraid to even come upon Goliath and the Philistines. And God had chosen him out of all his brothers to be king over Israel some years before he became king. So along the way, he was very faithful, obedient to God, doing everything God said to do. But at some point, after he got grown, and after he stopped fulfilling that position, he started feeling himself. He started doing the things that he wanted to do more so than the things that he was supposed to do according to God and the law. He was the king at this point. He had went through some things with Saul. Saul wanted to kill him. He had the opportunity to kill Saul, but he said, I will not kill the anointed one of God. I won't touch him. You know, because he was raised up by God, so he respected that as well. And he respected a lot of things along the way, but when we do this lesson, we find out that there are some things within us. There's a desire within us that sometimes we get that burning desire, and that burning desire overcomes a lot of things, and it overcomes us being obedient to the law. It overcomes us, it makes us overcome those things that we know we shouldn't do. Because, go ahead, Red.
And you know what, teacher, that burning desire that we have, it's that drive that we have, that we always want more. We're never satisfied with how much God has given us. Even when he gives us what we want, we still want more after we get what we ask for. And we're never satisfied, and we're never satisfied. But we're real thankful beforehand, but then afterwards, it's unappreciative, because if somebody gave you something that you desired, now you want something else. After that, went all out their way to make sure you done get what you wanted, and then now you want something more. See, God know our heart.
Yes, he does.
And he ain't gonna never be able to satisfy us, because we always want to be, I don't want to say the word better, we just want more.
What have you done for me lately? It's still the same situation, you know. He gives us the desires of our heart, but like you said, we don't desire more. That was good for that moment. But I see something over there now.
It's right.
You know,
this is new Christmas.
It's a new, yes, sir.
New year. New style is out.
You know, true enough, you know, this was good, but something further on down the line changed their mind. The house isn't big enough anymore. The car isn't new enough anymore.
Kids at the house.
You know?
You don't need no room.
You know, we want what we want. Is exactly what happened.
And we're not sorry for one.
Man, that's a tragic right there. Because like you said, if someone goes out their way to give you what you want, and after a while, you're not happy with what they want, what they gave you, you know, it's a slap in the face because you're still feeling good about, oh, I did this for that person.
Yeah. You sacrifice for them.
But then that's how God feels. When he gives us what we want, and then we get it, when we reject it, we really reject him.
Yes.
It's not just what he's doing for you, you rejecting him as well. This is how he's looking at it. Okay, he just wanted me for myself.
Yeah. But see, and the thing is, we know, like we said earlier, God knows our heart. God knows who we are. God knows what position we're in. And this lets you know that even though we do the things that we want to do, God has an assignment for us, and he's going to make sure that assignment is done, despite what you do along the way. So you can mess it up, or you can mess yourself up. Yeah, you can mess yourself up, but the assignment's going to be done. But along the way, hopefully you get the understanding and the wisdom to know that I better get back in line with God.
Yes.
Because when my time is up and my judgment comes, what's going to be said about this? Yeah, God, I did that. You did do it because I made sure you did. But what did you do to show me that you was trusting me, you still love me, and you appreciate what I was doing for you? Here it is, we got David, who's set up to be king. He comes from the sheep, tend the sheep to be king over people, which is still the same thing, you know, a shepherd over sheep. And he's the king over people. So here it is, he's leading. And he was put in that position in front of all his brothers. He was anointed with the oil. And it was told him that he was going to be king. But even when he was anointed, he went back to the sheepfold. He went back to the sheep. He went there until it was time. You know, and along the way, like I said, he came in contact with Goliath, you know, beat him. And then he became an armor bearer for Saul, who wanted to kill him, you know. But he was still loyal to Saul because he said Saul was the anointed one.
He's the king.
And his son was his best friend. And he said, no, I'm not going to kill him. He had the opportunity. He snuck in up on him. The spear was there. He could have did it. But no, I'm not going to do that. Let God take care of that. So he still had, you know, was following some of the rules and regulations that God had set before him. But then this particular story, David let something happen. And we'll say that again.
He was a man after God's own.
He was a man after God's own heart. Now that's a sting. He was exalted not by man, by who? By God. Job, in front of the devil, was told. That's one of my best servants right there. That's one of my best servants. So I can depend on him. Here, God is saying I can depend on David. But he also can depend on us being
who we are.
Even in our best, we're nothing but.
And Paul, even in the New Testament, said, even when I try to do good, evil is around me. You know, something, and even Jesus himself had to go through temptation. You know, because it's there. But the thing is, he said, don't yield to temptation.
No, it's there.
Flee ye from fornication. You know,
Yeah.
those things. And here's the story we got of David. I was thinking today, I'm like, people be looking at soap operas, trying to get a good story. You read this. This is a good story. This is a good story.
A lot of detail.
You get a lot of stuff. You got wars, you got romance, you got treachery. You got it all. You know, so
be interested in that.
You get that word, you get into this, then you can see God, how God works, how humans work. And it lets you know that even when you, as we say, even if you're walking with God and you fall down, get yourself back up. Because you still have a purpose. He still has a purpose for you. You know? All right, so that's the introduction right there. Thank God for that. Excuse me. It's called David's Sin and Punishment. David's sin and punishment is coming from chapter 11. 2 Samuel chapter 11, verses 2 through 5, 14 through 18. 26, 27, and then 12, 13 through 15. There's a lot of stuff in between that.
Yeah.
I'm glad we went over a lot of that yesterday. So we won't be able to do it like that today, though. Guarantee you. I wrote down in my list
Fix it, Lord.
that this lesson is going to show us about unknown accomplice.
Yes.
You know, unknowingly being an accomplice to a sin. It's going to tell us about lust.
Yeah.
It's going to tell us about lies.
Yeah.
It's going to tell us about murder.
Yes.
Treachery, deception.
Yeah.
All of these things is going to be in here. And then he said, well, I thought we was reading about David.
Yeah.
The one that was anointed one.
Yeah. No,
Right.
Yeah.
No, it's all
Yeah. But he was human.
I'll go to the text read. Wherefore hast thou despised the commandment of the Lord, to do evil in his sight? Thou hast killed Uriah, and hast taken his wife to be thy wife. Wherefore, what did it say?
Yeah.
Wherefore hast thou despised the commandment of the Lord to do evil?
In his sight. Yeah.
When we do evil, we're despising the commandments of the Lord.
Yeah.
But here's the thing. David thought he was getting away with this thing.
Yeah, like we did.
But what did he say here? He said, you did your evil in his sight.
Yes.
What does Pastor B always said? Can you hide behind yourself?
Yeah.
Did David think he was hiding from God? It wasn't on his mind. And that's what makes us think we're getting away with something.
Right.
Because we push God out the way.
Right. But he's still there.
He's there. He's watching the whole time.
Yeah.
You know, he's sitting back like
Write
he
it
said.
down.
Your notes, he said, your judgment comes from you now.
Right.
So everything that you do, you have to be accountable for. It's already written.
Yes. Yeah.
You know? So how you gonna explain
that?
You know, don't try to tell a lie because it's not.
Right. He's gonna add on to it.
You know, don't get that milestone any bigger now. That millstone.
Right.
Don't make it no bigger because it's already there. You're doing this.
Right.
And he's telling David right here, basically, you did this thing to yourself.
Yeah. Yeah.
It was your decision. Like we always say, the things we do is our choice.
Yes. Yes, it is.
We know right from wrong. You know, when a person tells you don't judge, I'm not judging you. You know right from wrong.
Right.
But you want to make an argument when you start hearing what you did was wrong,
Right.
as opposed to what you know you should have done that was right.
Right.
See, now you want to say I'm done. It's not coming from me.
Right.
Yeah, they want to fight you, cuss you out. You know, go tell other people, try to turn them against you. You know, but in this situation here, David brought in tried to bring in an accomplice.
Yeah, to help him. Yeah.
To help him pull this thing off.
Yeah.
And that
was wrong. You know,
even the victim. Yes.
He became this guy became an accomplice, which means he knowingly did what he did.
Right.
Now he's got to give account. So now you done brought me in your mess, David.
Right. Yeah.
You know, you done brought me in. I had nothing to do with it. I was before I go ahead, there was a little video I was looking at yesterday. It was about something that happened in a prison where this guy beat up this prisoner, and they were asking the other guys what was their account of what happened. Yeah. And this guy was telling them, you know, stuff like that, like, well, I didn't see this, I didn't see that. And the guy told me, he said, I want you to make sure what you're saying is true. You know, because we got video of this whole thing.
Right.
We got cameras. So now what you told me was here. Now I want you to look at that and I want you to
tell me.
Yeah, let it equate.
Yeah.
What you said you saw as to what happened. Okay. And so, well, I guess. He said, you know what? You got a good career. He said, don't ruin your career for that person right there.
My.
This is what we have to keep in mind. Yeah. We can't go lying and for people
up before. Yeah.
For our friends or for a relative when we know they did wrong. You can't do that because you're doing what to yourself.
Yeah. You bring yourself in.
You bring yourself in, you put that milestone around it. Because what does God love? Yeah. The truth. But what does he hate?
Lie.
He hates a lie. All right.
Yeah.
All right, so someone be a good reader. I know who automatically think they're gonna jump up. The 2 through 5, please.
And it came to pass in the evening tide that David rose off his bed and walked upon the roof of the king's house And from the roof, he saw a woman washing herself. And the woman was very beautiful to look upon. And David sent and inquired after the woman. And one said, is not this Bathsheba, the daughter of Elam, the wife of Uriah the Hittite? And David sent messengers and took her. And she came in unto him. And he lay with her. For she was purified from her uncleanness. And she returned unto her house. And the woman conceived and sent and told David and said, I am with child.
Now, before I go elaborate any further on that, I should have read the first verse. And the first verse says, and it came to pass after the year was expired, at the time when kings go forth to battle, that David sent Joab and his servants with him and all Israel, and they destroyed the children of Ammon and besieged Rehoboth. But David tarried still at Jerusalem.
Yeah.
At a time when the kings were out battling, doing what they were supposed to do for their kingdom,
yes,
to overthrow other kingdoms and destroy the enemy, David took a day off.
yes,
David took time out.
yes.
Real, go ahead. I see.
I was going to say he took more than a day because it's almost like he knew of Bathsheba because it said as soon as he called for her, she came. And so
It was the king. It was the king.
But the
What do you want?
But the point of the matter is this: is that the king knows that her husband and all of them are out to battle.
Yes.
He knows this.
Yeah.
And so the king got handmaidens and concubines and all this other stuff. So why would he want her to come?
That's what we said earlier.
Yes.
Even though he was the king, he still couldn't.
So you tell me if the king called for you, you wouldn't come.
But see, I'm a man.
I mean, I'm talking about it doesn't matter, man or
He
woman.
shouldn't be calling my wife.
They be calling you.
No, you're right. He shouldn't be.
He shouldn't be calling my wife.
But
He was in the wrong place.
Right.
At the wrong time.
instead of being out there fighting,
Right.
he was
up on the roof.
on the roof. Walking around. But see, what does the Bible says about idle hands? It's the work of the devil.
Yeah.
So now he had the opportunity
Yeah.
to exercise some of this with this innards that's going on.
Yeah, flesh.
Because now I'm not out on the battlefield, but I'm still stirred up.
Right.
I want to do something. I don't know what it is I want to do. I want to
Right.
do something though. So goes here and says what? Instead of being at a battle, he's on the roof. So now he done took a nap, woke up, going around looking at it, from up top, so he can look over the kingdom.
Survey. Yeah.
Who was that?
Yeah.
Now I'm not sure if it's the first time he saw her because they live right
Right.
next door, basically
Right.
what it
Right.
seemed like. He said, "But who is that?" And he said, and he inquired. He said, "I want you to go." Go ahead, Rick.
You gotta remember, they didn't have bathtubs in their home.
Exactly.
Okay, so they had a modern where people had to go get water and fill it up unless you went somewhere publicly.
Public baths.
Because the women wouldn't get the water.
Yeah, the women wouldn't got the water, so he had an observation view where women bathe.
Mm-hmm. He the king. His castle was up.
Yeah.
Everything else is down.
Because he didn't even have a thing. They had to bring him water to fill up a thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it would be within his castle.
Castle, right.
And his castle.
The castle is
Right.
the highest
It's
building.
the
Well, no, what the bathing facilities
Yeah.
were back
But
then.
apparently it was a nice warm day.
Yes.
Maybe
yes.
she decided I'm gonna bathe outside. The men are off to war.
Right.
She's safe.
Right.
But until we gotta remember, other than the fact that David was not supposed
Supposed
to
to
be
be
where
there,
he
right.
was, the enemy is still at work.
Hey, my God.
And the enemy knew if David walked out there, his eyes lustfully.
Why was his eyes
Zone in
over
on
here?
this naked woman
Yeah,
bathing
right.
herself.
Right.
So it's not like he picked her out. It's not like he knew she would be out there. Even if he knew who she was, the fact she was a naked woman,
Right.
his lustful eyes
Yeah.
zoned in on it. As soon as he,
Yeah. The lust
it's like
lust
in
of the eye.
in Carson, and then you have Macy's, when you walk in the store and they have this light shining on the brightest thing in the store, and your eyes automatically zone in on it. And that's what happened to David. The enemy was already at work, embarrassing him, because that's what he did too.
Not being out of war. Not being out of war.
And like you say, he zoomed in, and by him being idle, he wanted to do something. So what comes at nature? Nature rises up. So now I'm going to stop yielding into what God said, the commandment. I'm going to give in to my flesh, because that's adultery, what he was about to commit. She was married, and he had a bunch of wives.
So he already was.
But he was lusting because his eye was focused on her.
The wrong thing.
And he stopped doing the Lord's work. See, the Lord had raised him up to be a king to go out and fight. He had stopped doing that and decided to do what he wanted to do. Instead of being at battle.
So when we do the opposite, what God told us to do, there's trouble ahead.
It's trouble. Because we now, look, the road straight and narrow. The ones that go off to the side, you don't know what's there. You don't know what you're going to run into on the side when you take that detour, you know. But thank God you can get back on if he allows you, you know, to get back on, because sometimes there's a road that leads to destruction, you know. Unfortunately for him, at the end, some things did happen that he wasn't happy with. This is one. So, and it said, it came to pass that in the evening time that David arose from his bed and walked upon the roof of the king's house, and from the roof saw a woman washing herself, and the woman was very beautiful to look upon. And David sent and inquired after the woman, and one said, is not that Bathsheba, the daughter of Eliam, the wife of Uriah the Hittite? Now, the Hittites were enemies at one time. You know, but her husband Uriah was one of the mercenaries that came to fight with Israel against the enemy. And he was a top fighter, a valiant man. So David being on the battlefield, he should know who his warriors are. Who I can depend on, who I know I can give position to, who can lead and who can do this. Just like God put that trust in David, David had put his trust in men too, to lead them to war. And David sent messengers and took her. And she came unto him, and he lay with her, for she was purified from her uncleanness, and she returned unto her house. And the woman conceived.
She was nice and fresh.
She conceived.
But that in that third verse, it tells you that David did not know her. Because he asked who she was.
But you know, this is what's kind of confusing to me. It's confusing because here it is, David, you know, knowing who Uriah was. Didn't know. I mean, maybe he didn't have a personal relationship with his wife, but I'm saying he should have known she was married.
But even after the messenger told him.
That's what I'm going to say.
But it's not necessary that because he knew Uriah, he was going to know her.
Right. That's what I'm saying.
His boss, like his boss never met me. You know, so he knew where he was. David knew where Uriah.
My thought process on that was that he knew she was married. That's what I want to say.
Once
and that should have right there. That should have cut it right there because David, being a king, he knows the law. That woman could be. And so this situation lets you know now I have to come up with a plan. Now, first thing I've done was commit adultery. The fact that she's got pregnant, now I got to come up with a plan to cover up my situation right there. Because this woman's husband's off the war. He probably knows
on behalf of Israel.
He probably, and her husband knows the amount of time he's been with her. When I left her, she wasn't pregnant.
You've been through a purification stages too.
So he knows she was.
And immaculate conception ain't supposed to come yet.
Not yet.
It ain't come yet. So there's a situation going on here. And David started thinking, now once again, that's why I said, he has to go into what? Start lying.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
and I got to cover up.
Yeah, cover
You know,
up.
I got to cover up this lie right here. I got to cover up this sin. I got to cover up this ungodly deed I've just done. Because this is the feeling that people get once they accomplish that desire, then they start seeing the wrong that was in it.
Right.
If I get caught,
cover it up.
yeah, if I get caught, then this gonna happen, then that gonna happen. I look at a couple of stories that I heard, you know, through the years about a young lady working at a restaurant, 17 years old, working at a restaurant, get involved with a man that's married, the manager. Manager probably like 20-something years old, but he had a wife and kids. This girl gets pregnant by him. He has to cover that up.
Yeah.
He kills her.
And the baby.
He kills her and the baby to cover that up, try to get away from the sin that he committed.
Right.
You know, think that. So now he's got to keep going. You know, now he's got a punishment. Yeah, real.
But you know what? I'm just here and I'm looking at this up, and it was saying that she, in that fourth verse, when she came to him and laid with her, she was purified.
Right.
Because she had just finished her menstrual cycle.
Yes, yeah.
And because that she was obligated, she was ready for the.
Why would it pick at that time?
See how the enemy was trapping
Yeah.
He was
Set it
trapping you, so you're gonna leave a trail.
Perfect. Yeah, you're gonna leave a trail, right?
You're gonna leave a trail and have to explain yourself.
Yeah. Yeah, this is why he had to cover that up. Because her husband know that she wasn't pregnant when he left. Okay. Now if he comes back, if she's pregnant, there's a problem there. You can have her killed.
Right.
Now I need to find out who you got pregnant back.
So they get killed.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So David looking at all this. Oh, they're gonna stone her. Then they're gonna stone me if they find out it was me.
Right.
Well, how they gonna find out with me? Well, I sent my messengers over there. Suppose they start talking amongst each other. Then I'm gonna have to kill them.
I forgot about that part.
Right.
Faithful.
He's not thinking about God.
He think about that.
Once again,
He think
not
about
about
himself.
It's about the covenant.
it's about me and my cover. I got to change.
He the king, and the king don't have to go by the rules.
Oh yes, he does.
He
Go
got
to
to
God.
answer
Go to
to
God.
God.
That's what I was gonna say. This is where the king is really in trouble because the people follow the king.
Right.
Whatever the king does and says is okay, and the people doesn't,
More punishment.
it's on his head.
Yeah.
Their blood is on his head.
That's watchman.
That's why you can't allow sin to start flourishing and be a pastor or be anything.
Yes.
Because the moment you said it's okay, that blood is on your head.
Yeah.
Because they trust in you. But God told you no.
Right.
It's not supposed to be that way.
Your way.
Yeah.
So when you don't say nothing, you saying it's okay.
There you go.
Right.
You giving it to them. When they say, oh, well, you know, it don't bother me. It's supposed to bother you.
Right.
If it bothers God, it's supposed to bother you because you represent God. Yeah. Okay, we're running short on time, I heard. All right, so we find out that David, now he's got to come up with a plan. So verse 14 to 18d.
And it came to pass in the morning that David wrote a letter to Joab and sent it by the hand of Uriah. And he wrote in the letter saying, set ye Uriah in the forefront of the hottest town, and retire ye from him, that he may be smitten and die. And it came to pass when Joab observed the city, that he assigned Uriah in a place where he knew that valiant men were.
Mm-hmm.
And the men of the city went out and fought with Joab, and there fell some of the people of the servant of David. And Uriah the Hittite died also. Then Joab sent and told David all the things concerning the war.
All right, so now let's not think that, okay, David said, okay, because it does skip some verses in here. David didn't just say, okay, I got this woman pregnant, go kill her husband. No, he tried to cover it up along the way.
Right.
He said, okay, he said, send for Uriah, let him come back. Uriah, go lay with your wife, man.
Right.
Have a good time.
Right.
You know, go enjoy your life with her. You know, get yourself some conjugal visit.
Right,
you know?
right.
But Uriah, Uriah being a man of war said, no, I can't do that. My conscience won't let me do that.
Yeah.
We out here fighting a war. I can't go come
have
out
pleasure while at a time of war.
Exactly. I ain't gonna come out the battlefield to please my wife and myself, and then go, and knowing that my fellow soldiers out there dying for this. No. So he said, all right then. I'm gonna get him drunk.
Right. Maybe that'll
get him drunk and send him home. Maybe he'll go home and
Right.
He didn't go home. He got drunk and went and stayed in a service quarter. So David said, "Nah, I got a problem here because this thing is not gonna stop growing. It's gonna keep on growing. You gotta come up with a plan B."
Yeah.
That's sad, but
send Uriah with the letter.
Yeah. So now we're gonna send him with the letter of his death.
That's cool. That's real cool.
He didn't read the letter, because if he'd have read the letter, he probably would have, wait a minute, what are you talking about? Wait a minute, what you think no, this ain't happening. But no, he's loyal.
Yes.
I'm going to get the letter to who you sent to him. And Joab read the letter. He said, oh, all right then, well, I know what to do.
And he didn't pause.
Not at all. See,
95.
95. Because here's the thing, just like you said, it could have been easy for, wait a minute. You sure you want me to send him to be killed?
Yeah, the one that gave you the note?
Yeah. You want me to get him killed? You want him to die?
Why?
That's because Joab had did some stuff earlier too.
Yes.
See, this is how friends, see, this is how friends and associates work. That's what I'm saying. How can I, say no to him when I've done something myself?
Right.
See, this is why politicians can get along so well.
Okay.
Because they all got some dirt. See, I can trust you now because I got some dirt on
you.
Yes. A movie I saw, I keep going back to it, where the dude killed, it was 3 people that was going to be killed. One guy had killed 2. And he told the other guy, you going to kill him. And he said, man, I'm not going to, and he said, put the gun to him, say, you either going to kill him, I'm going to kill you. And the dude said, he was telling the story to somebody else. He said, the reason why I had to kill him because I couldn't have no dirt on him that he didn't have on me.
Right.
So that's how that goes on. Now he can trust me. Because if I go down, he go down for something that I said, I was in it too. And this is the same thing with Joab. He had some dirt on him. And even if he'd have refused here, he would have got killed too.
Yeah.
He got killed too.
Mm-hmm.
So this is what I was saying. He was an unknown accomplice. Yeah. But he knew.
Yeah, he knew something.
He knew once he read that letter. Something was up. Yeah, something going on. Why we got to have him killed? Yeah. That right there, they said, you want me to have him killed?
One of our best warriors.
One of the best ones.
What's going on, man?
But as a soldier, you can't ask.
Right. You can't ask questions.
Come on, Elder.
You just got to do it.
Yeah.
Getting there
before. And it's Veterans Day. Happy Veterans Day. Yes.
I'm going to read these 2, and then we're going to finish it up.
Yeah.
And 26 says, and when the wife of Uriah heard that her husband was dead, she mourned for her husband. And when the mourning was past, David sent and fetched her to his house, and she became his wife and bare him a son. But the thing that David had done displeased the Lord.
Of course.
It displeased the Lord. Yeah. So now you're going to think you're going to cover it up. You're going to cover up the murder. Yeah. Okay, now you're going to cover up the adultery. Right. Because if I marry her while she hasn't been showing, and then she has the baby, well, she did it because, I was her husband. It's my baby.
It's good.
Everything good. What are you talking about? Well, see, the baby,
it came early.
Yeah,
came early.
Yeah, about 7. The baby like 7. Wait a minute, what's going on? Nah, look.
2 months. Let's add it up.
A little premature. It's okay. It's up, but see, someone would have saw that.
Yeah.
Someone that knew would have said, "No, this ain't adding up."
And they probably kept her in high.
Oh yeah.
To stay in.
Yeah. And like I said, immediately he married her. Yeah. So that was the time when she was. More. Yeah. About 7 weeks. They said not 7 weeks, a week or 2 where they would mourn.
Right.
That's something else.
Yes.
And somebody go get married. This is how we see a lot of stories today.
Yeah.
Such a person dies mysteriously. 2 months later, they go get married. Cash in the
The policy. The policy.
Cash in the policy and they living happy ever after now. No.
They trying to figure out
all the time. So now we go to verse 2. So now we understand what happens here. Because God is displeased with this situation.
God gonna handle this.
This is how we have to understand it too. God is displeased with our situation when we try to cover up. Yeah. They don't see it.
Yeah, but God sees it.
God sees it.
Yeah.
That's who matters.
Yes.
That's who we got to be concerned with.
Yeah. Thank you, Jesus.
Verses 12 and 13, chapter 12, verses 13, 14, 15, it says, and it has something in between that. And then a story was told to David about a situation that happened. Right. And David said, man, we should kill whoever did that. Yeah. And then, Nathan told him, said, the Lord talking about you, man.
Yes.
You
the one.
You the one. This is your story.
Yeah.
This is your life.
Yeah.
You talk about, I'm giving you a scenario, and you talk about what should happen. Right. Well, the Lord he's not going to put that sin on you. He's going to move that sin, but this is you.
Yeah, this is you.
See, this is what we have to look at a lot of times when we hear the word, When we start jumping up, shouting, then sometimes you got to realize, wait a minute, that's me.
Yes. Yes.
He's talking about me. That word is hitting me.
Yeah.
We have to take that into account. Because remember, the sin isn't against that person all the time. That sin is against God.
Yeah. It's not just that person. It's against them. But the ultimate is God. God says it. He says, you sinned against me.
Yes. At least of that.
That's, and even because I say that is because if you do some harm to a person and you go to them and apologize, they don't accept your apology, but you apologize to God. God has accepted that. Mm-hmm. It's okay. Mm-hmm. That's up to that person to accept your apology.
Right. It's okay
if they don't, you got it off because you did what you were supposed to do. Right. But you took it to God, said, God, I'm sorry I even did that to that person. Right. Here, he didn't do that. Mm-hmm. David said, we should kill that person that did that to that man, try to take his little sheep or whatever he did. And then verse 30. And David said unto Nathan, I have sinned against the Lord. And Nathan said unto David, the Lord also hath put away thy sin. Thou shalt not die.
Yes.
See, you confess your sin. Now you don't have to worry about dying. Yeah. You see, but here's the thing. Yeah. Even when we confess our sin and the aftermath of that situation still comes upon us, don't worry about that. Okay, you still go to jail for that murder. Right. But you confess your sin to God that he can forgive you for that. Yeah. So when it's all said and done, the real judgment comes, what happens? Yeah. God don't put that against you because you repented for it.
Yes.
We need to give God a chance to give us a chance.
That's the whole thing. Mm. That's where he's supposed to take it to. Yeah. Everything we do in life, remember it says we have to take it to him for those sins that we know of and don't know of. How much time I got? 2 minutes, 1 minute, 30 seconds. All right, then I'll finish. And howbeit, verse 14, howbeit because this deed thou hast given great occasion to the enemy of the Lord to blaspheme. The child also that is born unto thee shall surely die.
Yeah.
Punishment from God.
Yeah, you did. Yeah. My reputation.
Sin number 10. He caused the child to have to die.
Yes.
Because he wanted God to honor that child.
Yeah.
God would not honor that.
Yes.
This was a sin that you committed. Okay.
Right.
And based on, like I said, it was a litany of sins and gluttony and all that. You could write the whole book on that. But once again, God said, this is your punishment for that. Yeah. He said, because of that, you had the enemy blaspheming me.
Yes.
You
messed up my reputation.
Right, you got them believing that I'll raise up adulterers, murderers.
Right.
You know what?
He embarrassed God.
You embarrassed.
It's like we be embarrassed God when we be doing things we know good well that God is going to be displeased with automatically.
But if the enemy finds out.
The enemy is a partner, trust and believe. And then we go on like it didn't happen. We keep putting it under the rug. And sooner or later, just like he did, we're going to trip over that big lump in the rug that's piled up with all your sins.
Yeah.
Your unconfessed
sin. And the thing is, he's looking at it that how could you be a representation of me when you're doing what you're doing? This is why all of us that said we represent God have to keep in mind the representation. If I'm going before anybody and they see me contrary to God, they're not going to accept God. They're going to say, I don't want to worship no God that you do something like that. Why should I change? That's a shame. But we have to understand that. And then the last verse says, and Nathan departed unto his house, and the Lord struck the child that Uriah's wife bare unto David, and it was very sick. So God took care of that situation. But
didn't have to, man.
In the situation, though, I just keep looking at it as we were saying yesterday. He never mentioned that. See, the Bible never said David's wife at any point. It was always Uriah's wife.
Uriah's wife. Right.
Even when he married her,
yeah.
if something happened, it says that David, he mentioned the other wives, that they were his wife, but they said, and Uriah's wife.
Still was Uriah's wife.
It still was his wife based on what happened.
Because they didn't divorce.
Right.
Yes.
And because you had him murdered, then that changed the whole thing. Now, had he died naturally,
then
she could die. She could do. So thank y'all so very much.
That
was the word of the Lord.